All right, good morning, good morning, good morning, y'all. It is it's closer to noon here, but I know that it's a little earlier for my guest who's going to be joining us here shortly. Welcome to Shop Talk Quinny, y'all. Oh, and we already got some peeps joining in. What's up, LaRoe? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna try and pronounce that. Oh, Fairfield, Belleville, what's up? What's up? I'm waving. I'm waving. All right, I'm gonna invite guest who's gonna be joining us here. Special guest. It's not her first time to the show, and it's probably not gonna be her last. Steph, what's up?
Not much. I gotta turn this volume up a little though. There we go.
There we go. How you doing?
I'm good. I
Wonderful, wonderful.
this is my first time doing IG Live. Like this,
Really?
yes. And you know what? I think I want to make sure that my Wi-Fi's on because you are spooling for me. It is. Well, I guess we're just gonna work through that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll see how the video plays
Hey,
out. You're
I see Reedy's here.
hey, what's up? What's up? Hello to everybody who is joining the live right now. Welcome. Again, this is Shop Talk Winnie. I'm your host, Joshua Edwards. I'm coming to you live from Orlando, Florida. And this is actually the first time that Steph and I are going to be chatting in the same country. Because Steph, you're near Washington, is that correct?
I'm in Washington, south of Seattle.
There you go. Oh, Grey's Anatomy, Seattle.
I'm sorry, that's like the best reaction ever. The hospitals are not actually here in Washington, though.
Okay, okay.
But they
You-
are
you-
definitely placed here, and I think they do some filming here too, actually. I think they do
Very
actually
cool.
quite a bit of it.
Very cool. I like that. Um, listen, I'm so excited to have you back to the show. I feel like there's the conversations that we've had in the past. I always think about them when I think about the show, and I think the reason that is because I just really appreciate the transparency and the raw, real, and kindness and empathy that you shared the last time you were on the show. And I just think you're a fantastic human overall. So I was excited for today. I'm excited today. And yeah, so you're live from your office right now?
Yes, yep, I'm in my home office. I don't know what
Beautiful.
people are seeing, but it looks messy, but that is all our work that we do here.
Oh, well, we gonna get into all that. So let's go there. So for people that are joining the live right now, oh, there we go. She's pure energy.
I
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Why don't you give people that are joining the chat right now the 411, who you are, where you're from, and what you do. Give like
Yeah,
a 2-3 minute spiel.
perfect, perfect. I can do that. Well, as we mentioned, I live in Washington State, just south of Seattle. I like to clarify that I am not in Seattle. I am south of Seattle, so much so that I am staring at a pig pen outside my desk, outside of my office. So I am in the country and love it.
Love
And
it.
I've been here in the Pacific Northwest for most of my life. I did a little jaunt where I moved away for about under a year and realized there's no place like Washington State. So I am true Pacific Northwestern girl all the way. And it's actually fun to lead in with that because that is where Vim was born. Vim was born on a hike with a girlfriend, the original second owner of Vim. She was started Vim with me in 2018, and about a couple months in, decided to move forward with a different career path. But it's been me with Vim ever since. And we are a branding agency, and Vim is twofold. So I'll touch on what you and Reedy and probably anyone else who runs into me say. Vim is an English word, and it means energetic, enthusiastic, high-spirited, vitality. And when I found that word, or that word came to me, I was like, that is what I want to bring with my business. And
Mm.
then twofold, VIM is an acronym for Visual, Intentional, Integrated Marketing. So when we're talking branding, it is all about those three pieces and how those bleed into your marketing. And that's what I believe and my team believe, and my team and I help cultivate for our clients, which is their VIM.
I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Now you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing this for now?
Well, I've been doing marketing, branding, design, photography, right? All of the things that um, you all come together when it comes to a brand. I've been doing those in different career paths since 2004 when I first really got like my first big girl job. And then Vim, like I said, we started it in 2018. And last year was the first year that I went full time into the business. So 2018, 19, and 20, especially 20, were very big transition years. Get us off the ground, kind of get me to a place where I felt like going all in on Vim was feasible. And so that was last year. But my marketing and branding brain, really started before I even knew what marketing or branding was.
Mm.
When I was 10, I had this neighborhood that my parents would drive us by all the time. And, oh, Lisa's here. Sorry, I'm seeing so many people pop in and I love it. Um,
Yeah.
and Lisa knows because I shared this story with her as well. The neighborhood had this really poor reputation. And I don't just mean poor financially, but also just all around general negative stigma around this neighborhood. And I remember being even a 10-year-old girl and thinking, if we just took some sandpaper and spent a day sanding down their sign right outside the entrance of their neighborhood, and then gave it a fresh coat of paint, you know, outlined all the lines in white so they really stood out. Like I remember being 10 years old and going this whole journey in my head thinking, that alone can really change the impression that this whole neighborhood that has a stigma or has a reputation, that alone could change it. And
Love
while
it.
that isn't necessarily true, right? But as a 10-year-old to be thinking those things, I think that truly is the, you know, moment that I can look back to and think that there's something about me that sees things that not everyone does.
I absolutely love it. You get some love. You get some love there in the chat right now as well. I like that too. And talk to this real quick. Like, is it? What's it like now? Because you said you stepped into doing like your own thing, like fully. You
Mhm.
stepped into Vim fully, and this is your baby.
Yeah.
And have you found that you've been able to unlock yet another level of your inner creativity? Thinking back to when you were 10, what was in you, and now being full throttle into Vim, like, do you feel like you've been able to unlock like like the creative energy that you have to a whole other level now that it's your thing entirely that you're into?
Yeah, I mean, I think so growing up, my brother was the quote unquote creative person. He's my younger brother. I love him to death. And you'd give him anything, clay, markers, construction paper, Legos, anything. He would become this creative, just genius. And he would make things that would wow myself and my parents. So really, even though as that 10-year-old, I had some creativity, I didn't know how to tap into that at all. I don't blame them, but I just didn't see myself as the creative one. I was labeled the leader, or dare I say, bossy, because I was the one getting the neighborhood kids all rallied together to play capture the flag and creating the rules or whatever, right?
Love that game.
Yes. And so my creativity and realizing that I am creative came once I got a computer and a camera in hand. Those two
Mm,
mediums helped me have an outlet that I never had with what my brother was naturally drawn to, right? Clay, construction paper, markers. I mean, he is an incredible illustrator. And so to answer your question, I started in graphic design and then got that camera in hand and then started implementing both graphic design and imagery together. I think one of the first things I did was a Christmas card to my family. And then from there, I did a mock magazine ad cover just because I could and it was fun. And I started seeing how all of these things come together, how graphic design and photography start to come together. And that is where my marketing brain came. Because, you know,
mm,
they're all really their own lanes, right? Designing, photography, even, you know, the different marketing channels have their own lane. It's when you start to overlap and integrate them all together, working towards one intentional purpose. That is what how Vim became Vim. Because that's what I saw was lacking in a lot of the marketing that I was a part of. There was a lack in this integration of the whole thing. So that's why when I named Vim, I knew having an I in my name was so important because I wanted both intentionality and integration to be represented some way. And it was just a bonus that I got both of them. I guess I could take credit for that. It's not just a bonus. That was my, dare I say, creativity.
hey, there you go. There you go. Own it.
Yeah, but I think really, if you think about that moment as a 10-year-old and just seeing something visual and recognizing that there was a tie to its reputation, to, dare I admit, 27 years later now, as a 37-year-old business owner, it's the creativity growth is seeing that they aren't singular and seeing that all of this creativity needs to work together to actually function in a way that performs. It's one thing to be creative and make things beautiful. And don't get me wrong, beauty evokes behavior, so it does perform. But when we're in marketing or sales or branding, we want it to perform with a intention. And so that's where your branding really starts to control the narrative. And so, yeah, that I've never been asked that question. And to think about the growth from that moment to that to now, that was a fun little journey. Thank you for asking me that.
I, hey, it's my job to draw those type of responses out. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, and I love that you've been able to kind of build them and really just let that interactiveness, that integration, and that shine through what you do. And I know you're helping a lot of people. I see like the testimonials and all of that stuff. What has been I want to get some value here for the people that are listening, and value from a business owner, somebody who is dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. What are some things that you've observed that you found that have worked for you as far as conveying to your clients the things you want them to see? Because in our industry, and and quite a few other industries, there's always been a gap and always will be a gap between like what we the service provider understand and what the client understands. And it's always for me been at the game of really seeing it from the consumer side of things. So then the more understanding and listening I do there, the better I'm able to convey to them in a language, in a way that is going to be totally understood. And then we can actually make a plan and act on it. What is something that you've observed and that's working for you as far as having those conversations and your approach to that that's been effective?
Yeah. I mean, the one, and it is a constant process. And I'm not down pack with it. But the goal that I want my clients to have when it comes to their branding and when it comes to them using their branding through their different marketing channels is simplicity, clarity,
Ooh, there's
truly
that word.
owning. Say that again.
It's my word for the year. We're gonna get into that. Go
Which
on.
one? Simplicity or clarity?
Simplicity. Simplicity.
I love it. Yeah, it's, your consumers. I think there was a time, and I should educate myself a little better so I can speak more from a place of education for this. But I feel like if I go with just my emotions as a consumer, which is what most of us do, if I just go with what I feel like in my 37 years of being a consumer and absorbing marketing, I feel like there was really a moment of time where it was all about these fancy, eloquent taglines or these getting the thesaurus out and just busting out these sentences that are just so impactful. But if you didn't know what they were words were, you're struggling to know what they were meaning. And I think we've gotten back to this moment of there's a quote that I share often that says, "Great marketing makes your consumer feel smart." And I think
Mm.
we got away from realizing that we don't want to make our consumers feel dumb. If our consumers go to our feed, go to our website, get an email from us, whatever marketing we're utilizing, and they're confused, there is a disconnect with them and us. And I'm constantly preaching to my clients that we want to control and alleviate as many points of disconnect with our consumer and us as possible. A lot of that disconnect happens when the branding is inconsistent. So, this happens a lot in companies who have been around for 5, 10 years and they started with some little logo that's on their Yelp page, but they haven't gone to Yelp in 5 years. And then somebody drew them a a little nicer logo, and then they put that on their Facebook, and they never got time to put their logo on their website. And I'm honing in on the logo, but that's just one piece. But when you show up inconsistently, there is confusion, there's a lack in clarity, and there's this disconnect with your consumer. So
Mm.
honing in and owning who you are, simplifying your offers and what you do, and then conveying that in as much clarity as possible would be my best 3-minute value point I could give anyone. And it's hard. I'm constantly re-evolving those things or reevaluating those things for them even, and trying to make it clearer and clearer. So I want to make sure people know it is an evolving thing. Don't beat yourself up if you're still getting there, because that in itself is going to pull you back. And I guess that's my little bit of mindset, like cheerleader coming out, because I need that myself too.
I absolutely love that, and it's funny because like a lot of the content that I put out is I find that I talk more about the approach to the thing versus the thing itself.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned mindset. Like I'm always thinking about like how business owners think and why they'll say some of the things that they say or why they'll do some of the things that they do. And it's always it's there's always a root there, I find. So I like that you mentioned mindset. I like that you mentioned simplicity, like the way people think, because like that's what I find, and I see a lot of quotes and stuff on your page, and I don't know, maybe this is a part of your overall strategy. Like I find that I see you kind of talk about like the mindset or the approach to the thing versus always talking about the thing, and I like that because I think it's almost educating. This is what I do. It's almost educating the consumer about, hey, here's if you really want this to be successful, if you really want to take your brand to the next level or whatever the service is, like here's almost the way you need to like start thinking about it. Is that something that you do actively, like with your clients, whether it's communicating to them in person or through your content? Like, that like a part of how you approach it?
Yeah, I think every social media manager or content strategist who hears me will cringe. But my content strategy is truly about putting just what I enjoy out there. There's the tiniest little pie chart piece in my content strategy that is about selling my goods. One, I don't really get a great deal of clients from social media. It's just not necessarily where my ideal client lives. However, I am a millennial. I do love jumping on Instagram, and the quotes that you see that are posted almost daily, that came from a necessity that I needed that motivation. I need these affirmations in my face. I want to hear these good quotes every day.
Talk
And you
about
know
it.
what? If I need them, I bet you at least one other person will resonate or get something out of them if I just post them every day. And so while it might seem like repurposing quotes or coming up with quotes of my own seems like an odd strategy, it was truly for myself. And I have had a lot of people come to me and say, you know what? Every day you post a quote and it happens to be like the perfect quote for me that day, or things like that. And so I know that that has been a value in some way, and so that has kept myself and my team going with us.
I absolutely love that you shared that, Steph, and thank you for sharing that because I feel like you liberated some people. And by the way, I'm affirmed also by what you just had to say because for me, it's very much along the same lines as far as my approach to social media. A lot of the content I put out is encouragement for myself, encouragement that I know a lot of people, it resonates with them because it's like everybody's kind of going through it. And, it's funny. And by the way, I love the transparency about, like you said, you don't get a lot of clients necessarily from social. And I mean, like, there are other avenues where I would say I get way more clients from than necessarily social. So my follow-up question to you, and I want to comment back, is, and you answered a little bit, but I want to go a little bit more into depth. Like, why for you do you spend outside of what you get out of it, why for you do you spend the time to invest in social media, putting out content consistently, showing up, knowing that it's not the bread and butter as far as how clients typically will engage with you? Because I feel like somebody's going to get liberated here. Like, because a lot of people don't understand this. They don't, like, if 1 + 1, if it doesn't equal 2, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, so give us some insight here because I think this is going to be valuable.
Yeah, so I want to make sure I'm clear. The intention, right? The reason for being on social for me and my agency is not to sell our products. And if you've ever had a
Mm.
conversation with me or if you've heard me on other podcasts, I'll bring up this like silly example that I call buy my cheeseburger. No one wants to be asked or told, buy my cheeseburger, buy my cheeseburger, buy my cheeseburger over and over and over. No one's even asked, do I like cheeseburger? Do I eat meat? Am I salivating? Am I hungry? Do I like you? Do I live near you? Right? None of those things are even asked or answered for me as a consumer if all you're doing is saying, buy my cheeseburger, buy my cheeseburger, buy my cheeseburger. So for me, the intention for them being on social, it may convert a lead into a sale, big difference. But the reason that they might convert a lead who is on the fence or found me through other means and chose to go to social media to learn a little bit more will then see, oh, I like her. I resonate with her energy. I see some of her work and it's very quality. She has a dog and I love dogs. She puts out a lot of inspiration and a lot of value with these quotes, right? Those sort of things, while the intention isn't sell, 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 It is to control the narrative of what people feel, how they perceive me and my agency, to then strengthen their decision to buy my cheeseburger. Right?
Yeah, that part. That part. I totally, totally agree. And you know, I again, I believe you've liberated some people because I think I honestly, truly believe that some of these business owners, they're out here and sometimes they wake up and they're like, why are we even on social media? It's done nothing for us. It's not getting us any business. I want to like take this clip of what you just said and I want to put it as a reminder anytime I hear a business owner ask the question, why? Because it's so true, it's so important. And when I think when you're playing the long game, you really stop caring about the immediate, like, I need to convert, I need to make it, you know, enough sales from social media in this quarter or this week or this month. Like it's no longer about that. It's about, you know, how can I provide value for the long term and really change people's lives, like
Yeah.
even through a little piece of content. And you're doing that. So I applaud you.
Thank you. Well, let me just piggyback really quick. Like, go back to why social media was created. I was thinking the other day, as I'm scrolling through my feed, it is just ad after ad after ad. Social media was meant to be social. It was meant to get our persons, our human beings, our personalities, what we like, around people who like-minded people, right? Family, friends. And then, you know, as everything turns into some sort of money generator or business, then it's gotten capitalized in that way. So my channel or my process is bring it back to the origin of why social was created and be social. Don't try to just sell, because there's other places for that. And don't get me wrong, I totally believe in social media marketing, and I know there are ways to do it that work. So I'm not saying that you can't profit from social media. But our approach here at WIM is to just be a human and social and enjoy it. So I hope that resonates with some people too.
I love it. I love it. You know, it almost made me kind of think of this. And I'm thinking about this like in real time. Like maybe for a lot of people, the approach to social is show and tell
Yeah.
versus socializing community relationship. Like one person said something once and I was like, oh my goodness. And I actually started doing it a bit here and there, is like imagine like if you posted on your Instagram and the post was had like nothing to do with your company, nothing to do with your brand. It was all about like somebody else. And not even somebody that's your client. Like just somebody that you admire who's also on the gram or whatever social media platform, and you just want to shout them out. And just think about the magnitude of dedicating that entire post to that other individual. And I was like, that's social.
Mhm. Yes. That is. I love that. And I love that you said, like, think about it as a show and tell. One, I'm a little biased that you said that because I use, when I'm going through my discovery with my clients, you know, we do a full day discovery before we even start putting pen to paper about developing these brands. We do a full day discovery. And in the discovery, I start the whole conversation with, I want you to think I want you to put yourself in front of a second grade student audience and pretend
Mm,
that you are telling me through like show and tell what it is you do. And I do it intentionally because if we put ourselves in front of, you know, young-minded individuals, that remember we talked about that clarity and
yep.
simplicity will start to speak like that. Instead of saying, oh, I do quantum leap physics and engineering for the aerospace engineering. And okay, well, second graders aren't going to know any of that meant. What if you say, I help airplanes go in the right direction? Boom. That is clear, and while that might not resonate with your audience, it does help us understand truly what you do. So show and tell to your audience, think about that for your social event. If you're sitting here trying to take this live and take something away, bring your audience down to that show and tell mentality. And I bet you will see way more interaction on that, level than going higher.
Love it. Love it. And so the other place I want to go with you here too, and by the way, I'm loving the value here today because I know this is going to help some people. I really truly believe it. It's my motivation behind anything, like just helping other people in the life, and those liberations, they really really can unlock like another level of joy, another level of happiness, and you're doing that. So thank you for doing that. The other question, and I know we're running out of time. um, Simplicity. So I mentioned to you that's my word for this year, and my phrase for this year is simplify and amplify.
Yes.
To you, I just want to hear from you. What does simplicity mean for you in 2022 when you think about your business? Because
Yeah.
I understand, respect, and I observe that simplicity is actually can be really hard to achieve. So what does simplicity mean for you in your business in 2022? And what is something that you've learned about it that you want other people to know?
Yes. Well, okay. So I I love that you brought this up. One, I think we might have talked about this during our last live or last, talk together. Sarah Dan is a coach who I love following, and she also has a phenomenal podcast, You're Effing Welcome. And I love listening to it. And she is the person who introduced the simplify and amplify concept into my brain very passively. Right? I'm not necessarily one of her coaching clients. I just really admire what she puts out content wise. A lot of great value. And Simplify and Amplify was a program that she had done, I think either last year or the year before. And so I loved that concept. And last year's goal was just get through it. It was my first year in business full time, and I didn't want to put any pressure or parameters around anything other than getting through it, feeling it, observing it, being present for it, and then using this year to streamline what I learned, right? Simplify what I learned, what worked, what didn't work. And I laughed when you started asking me this question because you said you love my vulnerability, so I'll give it to you. Literally, a month ago, you saw me posting that I launched my new website.
Yes.
I had conversations with my COO and my CFO. We brain mapped all of the packages that we were going to release with the new website. We had package 1, 2, 3. We had all of it figured out. Launched the new website, like I said, maybe 4 weeks ago. And I had my first prospect call that I got to use the new packages and website for, because I'm a firm believer that if there's something else out there, you honor it. So we've been honoring our previous packages up until the new site was live. And I was on a call and I was going through these packages, and my prospect, thank the Lord, was great and just asked me a bunch of great questions all around, well, why this one? And what does this mean? And I learned in that moment, nope, we're going back to the drawing board. We are revamping this because all of these packages we made it messier. It wasn't clearer. There wasn't simplification that I could amplify. It created more work, more confusion, and more questions where all my clients wanted to do is feel smart and feel like they knew what they were getting with me. And so what it means to me for this year is to continue to tap into it. We did go through already. If you went to my site, you will see we only offer one package at this point. That is all we offer because that is the package I truly believe every brand needs to have a foundation in. And so, yeah, that is what I am thinking and channeling for the rest of this year and hopefully for the rest of my business.
Thank you for sharing that, Steph.
Yeah.
Oh, oh. I like it. I like it. You know what? This is the meat and potatoes right here. It really, really is. And I think just to remind everybody that joined this live today, just because you are the industry expert, does just because you're the person that's providing a service and you know more about it than, the next person, doesn't mean there isn't always an opportunity to grow, always an opportunity to evolve. And I feel like the more we're open to do that and not have the audacity to believe that we have it all together, because none of us do, who are we kidding? I think that's what makes us smart. The fact that you want your clients to feel smarter about what you're up to on their behalf, like if that doesn't say empathy and kindness and caring, I don't know what does. And yeah, so I completely applaud that. I think that gives perspective and value for people that are going to be listening to this. And yeah, I'm really grateful that you shared that. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. Well, that brings us to our time. Steph, I could talk to you for hours about this. There's actually so much more I wanted to get into, but for today, I just really appreciate your heart. Thank you for sharing it with myself and my tribe today. And I just want to wish you the very best going forward in your business. You're a terrific human. You have an incredible business, and I know it's nothing but the stars for you in the future. So blessings
Like,
to you and in your business.
thank you. And likewise, thank you for having me. I love what you're putting out there. Please never stop.
Thanks, Steph. You have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you.